to celebrate the birthday. I'm 34 years old now. I'm getting old, and I know
Getting
people are
old.
going to tell.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I know people are going to tell me like, "Oh man, Justin, you're still a baby." At what? I need to ask y'all this question because y'all older than me, and I know y'all don't get this. But at what point, if you're in your 30s, do you stop getting, "Oh, you're just a baby"? When do you stop getting that? Because I thought that ended at 30. Okay, is it 40?
No, so here's where, and I'm going to say this as somebody who spent a lot of business in the restaurant bar industry and whatnot. I feel like hangovers hit different at 38. That was the number that always got mentioned. So that's my number, 38. Things start creaking a lot worse at 38.
Man,
35, I was still like stay up till 2 and get up and go to work at 8. No big deal.
man, look, my body is failing me. And I just feel like that at some point. I think that it's I'm thinking it's the kind of like the minutia thing to where you don't notice it, but people are going to notice at some point. And I maybe it might just be like facial features or body features or whatever the case it may be. But I don't know, man. I just never really figured out like why is it that when I tell people my age, thank you, Austin Zars, wishing me happy birthday. Um, why I don't know why people when I tell people my age and they see me, they be like, "Oh, you're just a baby." You know what I mean? And to an extent, for the longest time, I understood, but I thought that when I hit a certain age in the threshold of the 30s, that was the age you start getting respected as an adult. But man, it's real, bro. 30 is the new 20 for most folks. But hey, I'm at the age now where my knees hurt. It don't bend the same way. You know what I mean? Like when I crouch down, I can't stand back up too fast. So yeah, I limited my hiking when I was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, just to like very minimal because I knew that my legs was gonna get out on me at some point. If I was a pro athlete, I would have retired by now.
Yeah, I'm starting to have the arthritis. The arthritis.
It
Yeah,
sucks getting old.
yeah. There's a couple of joints on my body that remind me I used to be an athlete way back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Way,
that's the same thing with
way.
me. With me being in the army and everything, and
Oh,
now it's just like stuff's hurting. I posted a thing on Facebook the other day. It said, "My body's like an app. It updates, and next you know, I have a new aching aches and pains."
Mhm.
Because literally, like, I can go to bed and wake up. I'm going, Why does my back hurt? Why does my neck? What did my wife do to me while I was sleeping? Did she beat me? What happened? No, just my body got
uh,
that new update on the app and said, "Nope, you're hurting today."
that's just from jumping out of perfectly good planes.
Yeah, I got paid for it.
That's a crazy thing to do. That's just a crazy
Yeah,
thing to do.
yeah.
Well, you were in Tennessee, and then I spent the weekend listening to Tennessee, one of Tennessee's favorite sons. We went to Morgan Wallen concert in Cleveland. So good time, good time. I enjoyed it so much on Friday. We went back on Saturday. Not financially responsible, but good time, good time. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
All
guess you
right,
say that.
all right. Well, so, for those of you that are tuning in right now, Austin Zart and Joshua, welcome back. We are kind of couldn't schedule it correctly. I'm on a new platform, trying to figure things out, working through some kinks. We appreciate you guys rocking with us through this change. But we were just, I don't know, bloviating, trying to get a few minutes to get all the links out and everybody tuned in. So, without further ado, we will stop talking about our boring lives, start talking about some football. And that's enough of that.
I was about to say that. That was one short intro.
And that's enough of that intro. We're out of there.
Yeah, I thought that was me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nope, that wasn't me. I ain't do nothing.
Just cut out.
Yeah,
But
I'm sorry.
welcome to Running Through the Jungle. I'm your host, Brandon Harriet, here with your host, Tim Lyons and Justin Lacey. What's going on, fellas?
No, Tim, you're on
What
mute
it
right
do? What it
now.
do? What it do?
All right, yeah,
Oh,
I say
yeah.
you
Yeah,
got to give your
sorry.
whole what to do spiel, bro, but you was on mute from what I saw.
Yeah, what it do? What it do? I'm happy to be here. I have a question though. I'm sorry, Justin. I don't mean to butt in, but can you guys see us on your screens, or do you guys just see black boxes with little question marks on them? Because
No.
on my YouTube that I'm watching us on, I see nothing. So
So,
I'm asking the live chat, do they see us?
good question. I
Yeah,
see
that's a good question.
you, but you're blurry on our not on your YouTube, but like on our feed.
Mm.
Just an FYI.
Huh.
So,
Oh, yeah,
All
that's
right.
crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, because I'm seeing us on our live stream too as well. But yeah, the chat can help us out there. But yeah, no, like I said, I already kind of bored you guys a little bit with my vacation. Here's the thing, though, Josh. I know he was teasing a little bit in the chat. It looks like he said he sees black boxes too, and only just the audio. So yeah, we got to
Yeah.
work through some kinks there to figure that out. What's going on with us here? But look, bottom line is, man, we here to talk ball. We here to talk Bengals. Y'all guys already know how we going to do this, so I'm excited. I mean, I was MIA last week because I was on vacation, but it's nice to kind of be back in the fold with everything. You know, a couple of preseason games have been played. I know you guys already gave your takes and all that stuff, but we got one more. We got one more left to go. So yeah, it should be a fun show.
it might be a darked out show because I can't get this can't get the video on. We are
Oh
going
man,
to be you know what? Congratulations everybody out there on YouTube. You don't have to look at us. You can just listen to us because I
yeah.
have a face for radio anyway. Those of you listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcast, Amazon, it could be anything. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe. We appreciate you rocking with us as always. Let's talk about the game that happened since we were last on against Monday night against the Washington Commanders. Um, Tim, we'll kick it over to you. Just what was your overall takeaway from this? And let's start with the offense. After that, what was the offensive takeaway for?
Um, I, our offense didn't play bad. Our second, third stringers did fairly well. Joe Burrow came out there and he, he played okay. He did. He played okay. I guess my biggest question is why he stayed out there so long. But Zach did answer that question during his presser that Joe wanted to get some reps with the other guys too, not just Jamar and T Higgins. So I can understand it. But there was that one play where Joe got sacked. I just had flashbacks and was just like, Joe, throw the ball away, go down, whatever. Don't let them take you down. And he went down, and I was just like, oh, please just get back up. But out of the whole spotlight of them all of our offense, Tinsley, that cat is just he's showing what he's doing, showing what he can do. So, they did okay. The first string or Joe and that offense did okay, but I think Browning and the other group stole the show.
You're on mute,
You're muted.
Brandon. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
All right, Browning definitely had a bounce back day to me, but it looked like they almost
Yeah.
force fed that to us. Like he got a lot of playing time too. Justin, what was your overall thoughts and your offensive takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with the second string first and foremost. Then I'll get to the starters here in a minute. I understand that Jake Browning he did had a bounce back performance after me included, just literally just screaming like, "Look, I'm pretty much done watching this dude play." But how much of it really was Mitchell Tinsley because it was his day. That was his night, man. And I think he made Jake Browning look way better because once he had his two circus catches of touchdowns, and then he went and moved back on the sideline, and they put the other guys, the fourth string reserves in. Jake Browning went back to looking pedestrian. And then Desmond Ritter came out there basically just to run the ball out and run the clock out. And then, well, it was a good win, I guess. But it was nice for the Bengals to get this win, preseason win, because they haven't won one since 2022, from what I saw and what I heard. And I honestly, I ain't gonna lie, I don't even remember the last preseason win. I just know that the stat was 2022 was the last time that they won a preseason game. Preseason doesn't matter, but it does matter for the Bengals per se because they've had this notion of starting off slow. And honestly, in the last few years or so, I just kept on watching their whether if it's reserves or whatever the case it may be, whether if it's the reserves, the backups, whatever the case, they just wasn't looking good. They would just be stuck in the mud on offense. The defense would just be getting gashed in the run. Like that's what it was over the last few years when it come to preseason football. And it's nice to see the starters. So now I'm going to get to the starters. The first string offense. I love the first string offense. I think that we all in agreement that they're going to be the side of the ball that's going to carry this team. I get it. Everybody's freaking out about when Joe took a couple of sacks, especially that ill-advised sack that he took running and felt like 30 yards backwards, and then he took a horse collar tackle. I get that, but I'm not trying to protect and coddle Joe Burrow forever now. You know what I mean? I know that he's a warrior. He's got warrior mentality, but I also understand, man, you can't do stuff like this when it's preseason football. I understand, man, he has this game changer mentality that he's going to try to make something out of nothing. But dude, it's still preseason football. Just throw it away. Live to fight another day. Even I would even say that in a regular season, it's not the end of the world, man. Because I'll say this though: the Washington Commanders' first string defense, although the Bengals' first string offense went and scored on them, the first string defense for the Commanders actually did a pretty good job. They played with a lot of energy and a little bit more confidence. They made it harder on the offense. But again, the offense still came out there. They got some breaks with a couple of calls heading their way, and they still punched in the end zone on their first drive with Chase Brown. The defense, though, because that's the main story. They're still just bad, bro. They're just bad. I'm sorry. It's no way to skin a cat. They're just not good on the ground to stop the run. I understand too after the game and as the game went on too, they're going to be talking about like vanilla defense and they're not really trying to show the scheme. But when it looks that easy for the opposing team, and I'm sorry, but everybody has that strategy. They're not trying to show the full coverage of their playbook right then and there either. But the I'm seeing the Washington Commanders backups to the running back just get open holes and nobody's near this dude. It's frustrating to watch. And I'm just like, man, preseason or not, I can't keep watching this. It's getting frustrating. It's really getting pissing me off, bro. Like for real. So, I mean, those are my summary of my takeaways. I love the first string offense per usual. I hate the Bengals defense per usual. The Bengals second string and third string defense did step up and did better. I love what I saw out of Mitchell Tinsley. I think that he definitely does deserve a spot on the roster, and I can't wait to see what he does as an encore going against the preseason finale against the Colts.
All right. Well, my overall takeaways. Um, I want to play devil's advocate for this. Yes, no one wants to see Joe Burrow getting horse collar tackled and so on and so forth. I could make an argument. They're trying to start off and do something um, different than they have the past few years. All these slow starts, and as far as working yourself into football shape and doing all that conditioning stuff, the guys they're really not, for the most part, really trying to aggressively hit as much as they do in the regular season. And what I mean by that is when they get their hands on Joe Burrow, they're just trying to take him down to the ground. They're just trying to make a sack. They're not trying to like swing hard at the ball or punch the ball out as much or like you could say it's a little bit easier way for him to get the rust knocked off, for him to get some of that stuff and get into football shape and getting used to being hit too. Now, all that said, BS. I don't want to see Joe Burrow getting hit. Um, reiterate what you say about Tinsley. Uh, we're going to have some wide receivers right now that are on our roster. They're going to be playing somewhere else during this year. We have a very deep wide receiver core. Um, a lot of guys I think could be threes and fours in this league. So Good problem to have there. And nah, I like where we're at with running back a little bit better going into this season than last as well. So that's where I'm at on my offensive takeaways. Defensive takeaway, Tim, what you got? We did have a comment here. I'll start off with back up here. Yeah, Joshua Masters says, "What's up with Jordan Battle? I think he's good. I've heard some media saying he's not playing to par. Honestly, I'd like to see Jordan B and Tyson Anderson. Your thoughts, Tim?"
On that, I know everybody's criticizing Jordan Battle on that non-tackle of Jaden Daniels. Um, I see it in two different ways. It seemed like, to me, I can say, well, it looked like he over pursued him, missed the tackle, but then you look at a different view and angle. It's like, what was he doing there? I think Jordan Battle is a better safety than what he's appearing to be. Um, there's some plays that he should be involved in. Like I question this like for me, this defense has got a question mark for me. It's not, oh, I'm not gonna say we're trash, we're garbage. No, there's a question mark because if you go back and you listen to if you listen to Logan Wilson's um, presser that he gave everybody, he kind of said that they were playing only like 10% of the actual offense of what they actual what their actual playbook is. So they're only playing like 10%. Um, I just feel like Al's trying to get them to you know just play to get the practice in, get the game time in, and then later on they're going to fully put the playbook in play when week 1 starts. Of course, we don't want to show all of our cards in the very beginning, but one thing I do want to say is that first series that we had against the Washington Commanders, well, the first 2 series actually, um, that front seven, that front seven was just not doing any good at all. That includes, I'm talking about the defensive line. Yeah, of course, the defensive line and the linebackers. That they just the run game was just non-existent. But then later on in the game, I think we gave up 100. I think it was 138 yards for the game rushing and only under 100 yards passing. So they finally got it together. But like I said, though, is we're only running a shell. We're only running, you know, we're not running a full 100% Bengals defense right now. And it's preseason. We're not going to play our full playbooks on both sides of the ball. We're going to see who looks good, who is athletic, who's got good reaction to the ball. Like I said, I feel like the linebackers, the first string linebackers, they played okay, but when that second, third stringer guys came in, like Barrett Carter and them guys, they played better
Mm-hmm.
than the whole entire starting defense did. But we also got to remember is in our starting defense, we're missing Trey Hendrickson, we're missing B.J. Hill, we're missing Dax Hill, we're missing Cam Taylor Britt out there. So for us to give a full diagnostic of the defense, I'm not gonna beat them up. Just like the offense, I'm not gonna beat them up either because you know we're trying to see what we have in these young guys um, in the whole game. If we win a game, great, like we just did. We beat the Commanders. Yeah, it's preseason, whatever. But you could see positive things on both sides of the ball. We got 2 interceptions. Um, there was no sacks. There was no sacks at all, which I was hoping to see. There were some pressures and stuff, but the defense looked fair. I won't say good, but it looked fair as of right now. And they actually stepped up and they actually played some defense that when the second and third stringers came in and kind of they're out there playing for their lives. So I'm not gonna just throw all my cards in on them and just give up on them or just say that we're just complete trash and we're worried. What we need to worry about is that we have a middle of the pack defense this year who make plays when we need them to make plays, get Joe Burrow the ball when we get Joe Burrow in the offense back. We're not looking to be top 5, top 10 defense in the league. We want a mediocre medium of the pack, and for us to fully judge the defense, it's kind of hard. So, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, when I'm looking at, I've had this kind of outlook since I don't know the late '90s. Bengals when they would go 3-1, 4-0 in the preseason, and then win 3 or 4 games the rest of the year. Um, I quit worrying about the preseason that way. What I'm looking for is individual players winning individual matchups, and what those things can look like when they put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I'm not going to jump to a knee jerk reaction of the offense or defense's totality, but I will say, I mean, obviously, I do understand some concerns that Justin shared or whatever. But when I look at single individual matchups, Austin's Art here says, for me, I think Jordan Battle needs a bit more work. He's good, but he's been off lately. Maybe later in the regular season, he'll be better. When I think of Jordan Battle playing at his best, he is a read and react guy that runs around and plays with his hair on fire a little bit, right? Well, he's got a new defensive coordinator. He's learning new schemes. They're implementing only part of it because they want to get everything right. So it's not really the strength of how he plays well to me. I think that could dissipate as we get into the season. And that's, maybe a little bit of wishful thinking, but I do feel that way. The other thing, defense is very vanilla to me. Barrett Carter still continues to impress me. I've been just so impressed with uh, his reaction time. When we talk about inline speed and you look at his 40 and all that kind of stuff, good, not great. But when you watch him on the field, like his IQ is up there. His reaction to everything and how he reads the game is very good. So pretty pleased with how he's playing. Uh, and maybe a prelude to later in the show, but linebacker room looking pretty full. Justin, anything you want to add on this defensive parts here?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually going to attack the Jordan Battle fiasco for a second here. I am the camp of I just do not trust having him as my starting safety. I like him on my team, but not as a starter. I still think that the Bengals should have done more in that position in the offseason, and it is rearing its ugly head a little bit more early on, as we saw in training camp a bit, and now we're seeing with some preseason action. I still come away walking away from this is just not going to cut it at the highest level. Like I feel like that the Bengals still have not found that guy. I'm not saying that they need a Jesse Bates replacement, but they still haven't found the production value when it comes to the secondary overall. I think that they're just leaning on a hope of, hey, we got Dax Hill coming back from his injury, and we got Cam Taylor Britt, and we hoping that those two guys are going to bounce back and return to form. And that's what I think that they're truly banking on. There's some depth pieces at corner, but but when this comes to the safety play, I'm just not sold on it. I'm not sold on Geno Stone, and I'm not sold on Jordan Battle as my two starters, even though I know that Geno Stone didn't play against the Washington Commanders. And I'm not even going to criticize Jordan Battle for not leveling Jaden Daniels on that touchdown run that he had on the first drive. But I do want to see some attitude. I do want to see some edge from the starting defense. And that's what I'm not feeling. And yes, we can talk about the certain guys that didn't play, but for the most part, bro, I just don't feel that the intensity is coming from that side of the ball yet, vanilla defense or not. I just don't see that they're looking to make a statement that, hey, this defense ain't gonna be what it was last year or even the year before. I just feel like that Jordan Battle, I'm not going to blame him for not fully being developed right then and there as this yet. But I think that we need to see more from him for me to even entrust that he can get a starting caliber type of role right now. I think that if I'm the Bengals, I'm giving Justin Simmons a call and like, bro, get on a plane. Let me bring you to a visit too. Because right now they need some help on defense when it comes to the safety play. But you did also hint about linebacker. And I do like how the linebacking core is rounding out in the form right before our very own eyes. And I'm glad you mentioned Barrett Carter because I feel like that out of all the defensive rookies that has been playing this so far, he's been the most impressive for me. I get it. Shamar Stewart, he's not fully emerged yet. But I think a guy like Barrett Carter developing as quickly as he has so far with the twos, it's really becoming something that I needed to see from this position group that I really haven't seen the athleticism from that side of from that position group in a minute. Okay. Actually, I can't even tell you the last time. Like we've had a solid linebacking core during Al Golden's previous tenure here. But a guy like Barrett Carter, we wanted Akeem Davis Gaither to be that, but I think Barrett Carter is better. He's reading, he's reacting. There's a reason why he was playing, having a green dot in practices. I think that we're going to see him emerge and kind of push the starters sooner than we anticipate. And I think that he's ready to take on a little bit of a bigger role. So at least play time wise, that's what I want to say. But nonetheless, man, I still my feelings regarding the defense is while I'm not going to overreact and panic, I'm just still seeing the same consistent theme regarding that side of the ball. And for me personally, they have not earned the benefit of the doubt to just wash away their performance just because it's preseason and training camp. I've seen this. This is too familiar from last year and the year before into this year. They're still not stopping the run with the starting unit. The backups and the third strings and all that stuff, yeah, they played better, but that was when the competition was leveled out. But that gives me some promise, but not very much. Because at the end of the day, we need to still depend on all those guys too. Like if guys get hurt, next man up. Do you trust a Howard Cross of the world to be able to take over a BJ Hill if he's out for a few games? No, not really. But you know what? He did okay. McKinley Jackson, he's now with the threes, and it keeps going on. So I think that I'm patient for now, but I am closely sitting next to the bell to ring it when the alarm bell sounds off. Because right now, I still don't trust this defense worth a lick of damn. And I am still giving Al Golden the benefit of the doubt because he just doesn't have much to work with. But Trey Henderson can't make up your whole entire defense. This is why we brought Al Golden in to be able to mold this unit. And he's going to have a lot of work for him. He's going to have his work cut out for him. We already knew that coming into this year. So that's my overall takeaway from how their performance was ultimately altogether. Still some good things, but not as hopeful as what most people are indicating.
Tim, you got anything you're looking forward to with this upcoming Colts game on Saturday? Keep your eye on, if you would.
Um. Oh, that's right. We're playing the Colts on Saturday. You know, it's the same thing as always. We're gonna see if Shamar Stewart's in the game, see if he can get any pressures on. Pressures. See what kind of secondary play that we get. Are they going to cover wide receivers or not? Safety wise, are they going to run support? Um, like our biggest thing is I know the media is like, oh, we need to sign Trey Hendrickson, we need to sign Trey Hendrickson, but we also need to stop the run. It's always been an issue. Stopping the run is just huge. Like I don't even care. Like against the Colts this Saturday, I don't even care about the offense, to be honest with you. I don't care because we know what Joe
You
Burrow and
trust
those
them.
guys can do. I do. I trust them. It's the defense I want to see. I just want to watch and see how the defense plays. Want to see how they step up, even though they're only playing much of the actual playbook itself. And from what the I watched Al Golden's presser today as well. Al Golden said that they know the playbook. They're grateful that they're playing against Joe Burrow and T Higgins and those guys because they're getting the experience and everything that they need to play against a high caliber passing offense. He was also praising. He said that Chris Carter no. What's his name from Michigan? Chris the
Wait,
mutant
Chris
the
Jenkins.
Chris
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Jenkins. Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins is having like the best camp he's ever seen for him because last year he was dealing with that hand or wrist injury also, but he's having a great camp. So maybe we can see some stuff from Chris Jenkins. We were missing Miles Murphy out there and stuff. So, but I know there's been a lot of injuries going on, and there's some guys that will be coming back and all that stuff. I know they said Geno Stone was out on the field today. BJ Hill was out on the field today. So for me, against the Colts, I want to watch that defense. I just want to watch the defense, see how they play, see how certain players play. Offensive wise, Taj Brooks. That's all I want to see.
There he goes. Justin, were you looking for anything in this Colts game?
Man, I just want to get through that game so we can move on to the regular season. Every
Health,
time,
health.
just yes, everybody get healthy. No major catastrophic injuries. We already know that the starters are not playing, even though if it was me, I would still want to put the starting defense out there for a series just because
Yeah.
I still need to be able to see a little bit more. But overall, just I'm gonna echo a little bit what Tim said about the defense. I just need to see some consistency. Maybe throw some actual wrinkles in the game plan a little bit, even if it's the reserves in the game, because we need to be able to see that these guys can actually read and react when it comes to these defensive play calls. I don't want to be waiting until we get to week 6 and week 7 and we realize that, oh, these guys are still not reacting and responding correctly, and they're still getting gashed in the air and on the ground. I don't want that to happen. But one preseason game, and this is the last one where nobody cared the finale. It's not going to make much of a difference, but I am going to be intrigued to see a lot of the guys that are going to see battle out to make this team. Like I said, I'm a Mitchell Tinsley kind of fan now. He's made a fan of a lot of people in Bengals fandom. So if he's playing, bro, I want to see him get all the catches because he looked like Marvin Jones 2.0 the other night, and I want to see that again. And it might not be Jake Browning. It may very well be Peyton Thorne and Desmond Ritter. But regardless of it is, man, you got to make the most of your opportunity. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's offense and defense, more specifically, that I just want to see consistency across the board. But yeah, not very much, man. I mean, it's the closeout game. It's the finale. Nobody cares. And I'm not there's people that's been trying to sell me some tickets to go to this game. I ain't buying that. I
No,
ain't buying those tickets to go to a preseason finale.
no,
Hell no.
thank
Nah.
you.
I don't even want it, even if it was a free ticket.
I go stick with health. Let's get through this one healthy. Let's get into the regular season. Put the gloves on. I think we always have a fighting chance. We got Joe Burrow, so that's where
Excellent.
I'm at with it. All
Hmm.
right. Without further
Hmm.
ado, we're going to take a quick break. We're here from some of our sponsors. If you are watching us on YouTube, you're going to stare at a black screen for just a few seconds, and then we'll come back to that same blank black screen, and we'll start talking at you again. Um, if you have not yet, please thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll be right back. And we are back running through the jungle. We got the whole crew here: Justin, Lacey, Tim Lyons, and myself, Brandon Harriet. We're gonna bring back an oldie but a goodie from last year. I got imaging for this, and no one can see it. Let's
Oh
go.
man.
It's
Frustrates
good
me.
too. But hey, next week I'm gonna have part 2 of this. But we are playing check, raise, or fold. Real simple here. If you've ever played poker, you get the game already, most likely. But instead of giving you a hand, I'm going to give you a human. I am going to give you a football player from the Cincinnati Bengals. And I just want you to tell me, Tim, no one can see what you're putting up, buddy. I
Yeah,
can't
but
even
you
see it.
can.
No, I can't.
Oh, you
You're
couldn't see it?
I couldn't see
no,
it either.
it's yeah,
Oh,
it's
well, it's gone now. You took it down. So, but they can see the check, raise,
oh,
and fold
so you can see
on their
that
screen.
part.
Yeah,
Hey,
they can actually see that. They can't see us because we're
but
just
Maybe we should
ghosts.
keep this up for the
But they
entire
can see
segment.
it.
we'll leave this up. There you
Okay.
go. You got
Yeah,
something. You got something to enjoy. Yeah, I can't see you
yeah,
because you keep lagging or something. Any whoosies.
yeah. Yours does it too. Yeah.
Any whoosie what's it? Um, check raise fold. I'm just gonna give you guys a player. I'm gonna. Are you checking on him? Are you where you thought he was gonna be at this point in time? Are you raising on him? You think he's out playing where you thought he was gonna be, or is it time to start folding those cards, looking for other options? Some of these are layups, some of these are not. We're going to start on the offensive side of the ball. Tim, I'll start with you. Dylan Fairchild, check, raise, or fold.
I'm raising on that all day long. That boy, he's been playing great football. Fairchild has been playing great. He had his mistake, his hold or whatever the hell it was on the first preseason game, but from what I'm hearing about him in camp
Chop
and
block that
how
was
he
not a
played,
chop block.
yeah, and how he's playing in camp, and then how he played in week 2 of the preseason, I'm raising on him all day long.
All right. Stick with an offensive lineman for you as well, Justin. I'm gonna stay on the left side of the line. That could be a theme for next week. To be continued. But left side of the line, Orlando Brown Jr. Check, raise or fold on him, Juddy.
All right. My instincts tell me that I should raise on this, but you know what? I'm going to check instead. And that's because I need to see a return to form kind of year for him too. He was pretty solid before he got hurt last year, but we have yet to see him become the Pro Bowl caliber Orlando Brown Jr. since he signed with the Bengals. And that's what I want to see from him this year. So I'm going to say check for now, but I understand that if people want to race.
Gotcha. All right, I dig it. Tim, let's go to that wide receiver room. Give you I'm not gonna give you a top two. That's too easy. Let's go, Andre Yoshivas. What do you think about Yoshi so far? Check, raise or fold?
I think Yoshi's got that wide receiver 3 position pretty much on lock. So I'm definitely going to check on him. I'm not going to raise on him, but I'm checking on him because I can see that he's definitely making the 53-man roster. There's no doubt Yoshi is the man. So I'm just checking on Yoshi.
It's hard to raise when you had somebody penciled in as your third wide receiver, and the other hands that are being played are T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So I don't
Right.
think there was really an opportunity for him to get raised there. It was
Right.
more of a check or a fold question, right?
Yeah.
And listen, some of the other
And you
guys are
check on
playing. Some of the other guys are playing well. Some of the other
yeah
guys are
you
playing
check
well.
on him also because Yoshi is a man that Joe he's depends on.
Yeah, there's some
He
definitely
trusts.
trust there. He
That's
throws
the
to
word I'm looking
him.
for. He
Yeah, he
trusts him.
throws
Yeah.
to him a lot in the red zone for sure.
Yep. And yep. Definitely.
All right, Justin, let's stick in that wide receiver room with another. You know, actually, I'm gonna say it. Pretty disappointing so far in his career, in his young career. But what do you think about this season? Charlie Jones, check razor fold.
I also got to check on him just because also need to see it consistently throughout the regular season. I like what I'm seeing so far in his training camp, and I also like what I'm seeing so far in him gaining trust of Joe Burrow. One of the more underrated factors of the Washington game was after the first drive, Jamar and T they went out on the sidelines, and Joe Burrow decided to stay in for two more drives, albeit one of them ended up being the sack and punt. But then the second drive, Charlie Jones was his number one target. And I that's what I wanted to see. I actually wanted to see how Joe Burrow elevates the team around him without the wide receiving coach. Because that's the criticism that Burrow gets for a lot of the haters and the ops on the outside world. They said that he is nothing without his weapons. Well, his weapons wasn't in on that series, and they still scored a touchdown. Now, they did have some help when
Yep.
it came to the penalties, but that wasn't because Joe Burrow wasn't bad. I mean, was bad. He wasn't, and he was still surgical as ever. He still was finding his outlet receivers, and Charlie Jones was the main one. But I need to see that consistently for me to put money and bet real big on him. So I'm going to say check for now. I like what I'm seeing from him, and I think that he is and should still be the kick return specialist as well too, because dude is lightning quick. He had a nice return as well. So I'm going to check.
I dig it. And I just realized that bookend on offense here, I gave two sincere layups to Tim because I know what he thinks about both these dudes, and I didn't do this on purpose. Tim, Taj Brooks, check razor fold.
I am Taj Brooks. Taj Brooks. I'm gonna check on him right now. He's playing ball pretty good. Um, he's you know what like 3-4 yards of carry every time. So He's actually playing really good, and I love the fact that he looks for contact. I say that all the time. He looks for contact on every single play. But I'm checking on him right now. But there's a potential that if somebody was to bet on him, I would maybe raise on them because I think there's a possibility he could end up being RB2 later on in the year.
I think he will be. I think he will be RB2 this year, all said and done. And I think I like him a little bit more than that. I'd give him a little raise right now. I'm not gonna go all in, but I'm gonna give him a raise. And the reason why I say that is like he's not getting blocked very well for, and he's still getting positive yards. He's one of those the back that falls forward kind of deal. I like that. We need that in this mix. I'm gonna give him a little raise. So let's go check raise fold on the defensive side. And on the defensive side, I've decided we talked about the linebacker room being pretty crowded and some guys playing pretty well there. So I'm just going to go to the linebacker room. We're going to see what you guys think about the linebacker room. Justin, I'll start it off with you. What are your thoughts so far on Logan Wilson? Check, raise, or fold?
Man, it's not looking good. I want to fold right now. And I think that he has a chance to prove me wrong, but he has not looked good in practice either. And it is starting to concern me a little bit. Now, again, we can talk about vanilla defense all we want and all that stuff, but the early theme of what I saw from the Bengals the last few seasons when it came to the defense being underwhelming and underperforming is that they started to show those warts early on in training camp and practice and in preseason too. And nobody just didn't catch on in time. Well, I'm catching on this one here. So with that being said, I like Logan Wilson. Does he have an absolute chance to bounce back and then shake off the rust? Was been a really kind of off training camp for him and a disappointing play and practice and preseason. I think that he can absolutely bounce back. But right now, if I was a betting man, I think that I just have a two pair going against a couple of boards that potentially have straight draws and flush draws. I'm folding.
Yeah, I can see that definitely. I definitely like that analogy from you. Um, I if I would give it a check, it would be a pretty pessimistic check, waiting for somebody that would raise me, and then I would fold. Um, it's one of those. I like Logan Wilson a lot too. We said this about the defensive line last year. We've said it about edge. We've said it about some other places. Um, you can't hold on to the guys for nostalgia reasons and only play the veterans. If the young guys are playing better, you got to get them playing time. And
And
and this has that writing on the wall.
exactly. Yeah, and I'm gonna say this real quick. Logan Wilson was supposed to be what Matt Milano is in Buffalo. That's where Logan Wilson is supposed to be right now. He should have ascended to this part. Now we can blame the scheme, we can blame Lou Anarumo, but Logan Wilson produced really good under Lou Anarumo too.
Hmm.
And we can't talk about injuries or whatnot because Matt Milano was out for a year before last year. So I don't want to
True.
hear that either. Logan Wilson was supposed to enter this era to where he is that stalwart veteran that is in the teeth of the defense that leads the charge. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure he can even catch up right now. So that's why I got the fold. And I like to check towards a fold for now.
Uh, that's like another good comp too, Matt Milano, for sure. All right,
Hmm.
Tim, your first linebacker. I'm
Yes, sir.
gonna give you rookie Demetrius Knight Jr. What do you think of him so far? Check, razor, fold.
The first preseason game and the way that I'm hearing about him in the camp, I would definitely raise on him. But then after seeing what our defense did the second preseason game, but he's also been, from what I thought I heard was hasn't he been hurt as well?
I think he
Anyways,
dinged up.
dinged up. We'll say dinged up. Uh, I want to raise on him. I really do want to raise on him because I can see that potential. We already know he's going to be a starting linebacker. He's going to be out there with the starters. I'm going to I'm going to just go with my gut feeling, and I'm going to raise on him because he's a different kind of cat. He is very smart. If I remember correctly, he used to be a quarterback as well, or a
Mm-hmm.
cornerback. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember which one it was. I think it was a quarterback actually.
Quarter.
So
Yep.
he can read quarterbacks really well out there. You know, I watched some of his film when he was in college. His reads were great. His tackling skills. He's quick. He's also a little bit older, a little bit long in the tooth too. So he's not going to be somebody that we're worried about, going out there and making these reads correctly and all that. So I'm gonna just raise on Knight and keep raising on him. I think he's gonna make up for that Logan Wilson starting off slow. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna raise on him.
Um, yeah, that's a good one. I think one of the things I could see a check or a raise here. You can make an argument, I
Hmm.
think, on both sides. One of the things that I kind of have in the back of my mind is the fact that he did blitz and did edge rush a little bit at South Carolina. And if we're
Hmm.
not getting pass rush, I'm wondering if we'll see Al Golden down the road utilize him in that kind of fashion. Something we're definitely not going to see in these three preseason games. So
Right.
interesting one for me. Um, all right, I will go back to Justin. Justin, Oren Burks.
All right, all right. So on Burks, if I were to characterize his play and his performance so far in form of a poker hand, I would say that it's like I got pocket nines under the gun, and then when the flop came, I do see that I have a nine, but it's not the three of a kind that is leading the board. And I'll still hold on for now, potentially might raise, but I think that I do not have the best hand. I would not have a great poker face with this one.
You're in the mix, but you're
You're
not
in
confident.
exactly. So
Okay.
with that being said, this will be a bluff raise. That's what I'm going to say because
Oh, all
I
right.
think I can use his Super Bowl prestige of being on the Eagles from last year and pairing it with the young talent to my advantage and believe that I have a nice three of a kind. I'm not even mentioning Logan Wilson in this. I already folded on him. But with Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter plus Oren Burks, I think that I can bluff someone into folding and winning off a pretty good hand because I think that he has that tenacious attitude about him coming from winning the championship with the Eagles, but I don't want to be all in. So therefore, I will bluff raise because I think that I can beat somebody with my trip nines. But I think that if somebody reads me correctly, that they'll probably be able to beat me with a trip tens because they probably have the better three of a kind on the board or a full house. So
All right.
that's where I'm at. I'll slight raise, but it's a bluff raise.
So solid play. Not 100% confidence. By the way, you got 100 of three times there from Austin's art. He liked that one. Let's go to let's go over here to Tim. Tim, I'm going to give you the leading tackler from Monday night, Shaka Hayward.
Old Shaka Shaka.
That's a tough one. I gave you a tough one.
It is a tough one because didn't Shaka Hayward
He
have a good preseason last year as well?
he did. I will say
Hmm.
this though. I will say this. You've
But
gotten
yeah,
much. You've gotten more layups than Justin too. So you could take a hard one here. It's okay.
hey, you know what? It's fair is fair. Whatever. Ah, man. So Shaka, last season preseason he had he was a highlight last year. He's been a highlight last or not last night, but Monday Night Football. Leading tackler. We heard him say his name a couple times. I think he got called for a penalty as well, if I remember correctly on Monday Night Football as well. But man, I don't want to fold on the kid because I think he's got the potential, but as we remember last year, Lou didn't, because we also had what's his name, the other linebacker that had a good preseason, and he we never even really seen him take the field.
Hey, don't mention him. Don't mention him. We're gonna talk about him. We're gonna talk about him next.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Good. So
Shh.
Justin can have a hard one. All right.
Uh, Justin, I
But
know. I
I
saved this guy for Justin because I know Justin likes him.
okay. Well, I like him too, but with Shaka Hayward. First of all, I'm raising on just his name, Shaka Hayward. Like, come on. But I'm going to check on him because I don't want to see him go. I think he's a good guy to have in there. Maybe he gets called up during the year, or maybe he's one of our four or five, number four linebacker or something in there. But he's competing with Barrett Carter, and he's competing with uh, Demetrius Knight too. So and Oren Burke. So I'm just hoping that the Bengals can check on him and just not let him go because I think there's that potential in him. So it's just so hard. That was dirty, bro. It was a hard one, but yes, I'm gonna check on Shaka Hayward.
Shaka Hayward, 6'3", 238. Maybe he can rush the passer too, because we could use some of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's played pretty well when given opportunities. I wish they would play him some more against some ones. They did it last year for a series or two. I'd like to see what he does against them, but I doubt we're going to see much of that. Well, we might.
Right.
Indianapolis has to get some continuity going with quarterback. So, all right,
Yeah.
Justin, do you know who I'm sending your way?
Go for it.
Do you have a guess?
Oh, I know who it's going to be, and I'm prepared for it.
Muma, John Meta,
Fold. I'm
folding
sorry.
on him.
I'm sorry. I have to fold.
It was
It's
a 1 year love affair. You had one summer, and that was it.
that is exactly the reason why I'm folding. I'm not willing to take chances on that again. And it's not to say that I think he's a bad player. I think that he is a fine depth piece, but I don't think that he is the guy that you want to hitch your wagon to that can just come out of the woodwork and then start dominating in this league. I think that the best that we've seen of him has happened last year in preseason. I think that that's pretty much it. Um, could I be wrong? Sure. But I tend to believe that once you've kind of shown your cards, you got to do some pretty crazy acrobatic stuff and truly iconic stuff to be able to swing the pendulum the other way. And I just don't think that he has that in him right now. I still want him on my roster because for depth pieces, I think that he is a good enough body in the linebacker room that if you start having bodies drop like flies, yeah, we know his value on special teams can be somewhat immense. He has a chance to do that. But as far as like actual play on defense, he hasn't really learned how to like not over pursue and head straight for a tackle. He like if I were to tell him, hey, go after Lamar Jackson when he's bailing out of the pocket and running to the left, go get him. He is going to get he's going to get juked like crazy because he
Mm.
over pursues so much. But I like his energy, and that's why I like him still on my roster. But I'm not betting on him, and I will fold.
You've played this game very well, my friend. Um, I will say similarly. I agree with you. This is one of those things where he's just finding himself in a lot of traffic right now.
Yeah.
The depth has gotten much better. I feel like this year versus last year, and this um, group specifically, this position group, and he's going to be a little bit of that. He might be the casualty, right? It's going to be him or Shaka Hayward. One of those two are going to be tried. They're going to try and hide him on the practice squad, but who knows if it'll happen or not.
Right.
Last but not least, Tim Lyons with another softball. Check, razor, fold. I keep throwing you pocket aces, asking if you want to check, razor, fold. Barrett
Right.
Carter,
I'm raising on him.
are you sure?
He's just get. I'm positive. I'm raising on him. He ain't going nowhere. He's staying right there in that depth chart. Even if he's a depth piece, or he gets in there and plays, and gets some plays in there. Barrett Carter, I think that was a smart draft pick on our end. At first I know I was like, why the hell are we drafting 2 linebackers in the draft, but Barrett Carter's proven me wrong on that. To be honest with you, with his play, I just feel like he's stepping up. He's doing he's doing what he does, and I know he had that interception on Monday night, but he always seems to be in the play somewhere. So I'm definitely raising on him.
Yeah, we've all said it. I think he's been playing great. So nothing to see here on that one. All right, closing comments, my friends. Justin, I'll give it to you. 90 seconds or less, and it's not because I have a fantasy draft at 9 o'clock. That's definitely not the reason why I said 90 seconds. What are your
All
closing
right.
comments?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll actually keep it much shorter than that. Who they?
Oh,
All right.
hey,
All right.
all
No,
right.
no, no, no. I ain't gonna cheat the fans out like that. I apologize to our listeners. So but yes, no, still who they. But this was fun. This was a great episode to be able to, to recalibrate the check raise or fold method. I still would have loved to been able to get some easy ones, but you know what? It is what it is. That means that I can really chime in on my knowledge on the depth piece regarding this roster and whatnot to be able to kind of play this game effectively. So well, I appreciate the compliment about playing this game really well because I think that I'm a pretty solid poker player. So yeah, it was a fun one.
Tim, final thoughts?
Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. We're trying to grow this thing, so share it on your Facebooks, on your Tweeters, on your Instagrams, on
Oh, the
whatever.
tweeters.
Text it to a friend that's also a Bengals fan. I know there's more Bengals fans out there, and I know we're only touching like the surface. So just we're doing what we can do to share as well. But if you guys can just reach out to your other fellow football fans, your fellow Bengals fans to help us grow, that's appreciated. Anyways, other than that, Who Day and have a safe weekend.
Love it. Like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. We will be back here. We've already figured out during the show what I did incorrectly setting up this show. So we will be on the screen for the next one. We're figuring it out day by day. We appreciate you guys rocking with us as always. Check us out next week as we are running through the jungle.